my friends, welcome back to Learning Torah Lishma. Now, I want to talk about something. It's a bit delicate, and it's hard for many people to hear. But nonetheless, on this channel, we're not here for favoritism. For people to hear for us to echo your desires, your wants. You understand? This channel is for people that are just fed up of the lies, and they just want the truth. That's it. They don't care. They're not thinking, well, I didn't feel like I liked it. You understand? It made me feel bad. To change, there's a lot of people that were paupers and they felt bad at that situation and they became very rich. You understand? So the famous I remember one of the big supermarket stores. He started off selling apples. You understand? So we're here for someone that's beta, someone that's thinking like a woman. That's not good. That's not good. We're here for people that want to be, alpha males, sigma males, people that are high level, and they want to be bothered. They want to feel hurt about their situation, because if it hurts them, then it's on their mind and they become better. That's you understand? So today, now I'm going to talk about in the Jewish world, the frum Orthodox Jewish world. Of course, similar things are playing out in, in the Goyish world, the Gentile world, and, other types of groups. But, right now I'm going to talk about the Jewish world. So, the Orthodox Jewish world. So they're pushing the idea of kollel, no working, money will fall from heaven, and at the same time they say that your wife, she'll do the support, and the in-laws will pay in. What about the fact that the in-laws, they don't have just one kid, they have a whole bunch of kids? They don't take that into calculation. They think like a child. You understand? And so what happens is how does this falsehood continue? So first of all, any rabbi you talk to is talking about kollel. Everybody is brainwashed. You understand? But it goes deeper, and that is they try to make everything focus on them. They become the focus. How is that? They're brainwashing the girls that if you marry a boy that isn't going to be in kollel, basically tipa srucha, it's better you weren't born. It's better that that the embryo turned over and you never existed. That's basically the feeling that the girls are getting. And because of that atmosphere, and they talk about it so much, they're like, that's everything. That's the lechatchila. That's the real way of doing things. And the other way is for dummies and fools and losers. You understand? To a woman, that affects her a lot. Women want to have a high quality man. So when you make high quality men, people that are balanced, that you train them from a young age to look at them as nebuchs and losers, what happens is they can't marry them. They're too embarrassed. It goes against their nature to marry a loser, but they don't realize that really the system brainwashed them. The people that they're marrying are losers, and the people that are balanced are actually the real catch, so they don't understand that. And by the time they figure that out, usually it's too late. Girls could easily go till 40 without figuring that out. You understand? And really it's 40 and beyond. The sky's the limit. You understand? Girls are very stubborn. A girl's a diamond. Once you if you set her in the right path, she'll be stubborn with it. But if you set her in the wrong path, she just continues and never ends. Very hard to change. You understand? So men, the ability of change comes more natural to them, more easily. It's a part of them. Women, it's stubbornness. You understand? So now getting back, so the system is very smart. It's very smart. It makes all the losers, not people that have to be losers, but they turn them into losers, they make them go in a loser way of life. It makes them have the kids, it makes them have the wife. And now when they're about to get divorced, all the resources are put to keep them married. All the resources are put to send their kids to schools because they can't pay for it. So everything, the kollel, they're not making any money, so all the resources go to the kollel. And what happens is the emergency that happens when a loser who doesn't have, again, they don't have, these are people, again, even though we're calling them loser, remember, beta males, but they don't have to be. They could be alpha males, they could be sigma, they could be high quality, and they have big potential. You understand? They have Jewish blood in their veins, and they are the children of God because they chose to be the children of God. The other nations decided that they would rather be commoners because they have more freedom. They don't have all the 613 laws. They only have 7. You understand? So, but just because you have potential, if you do not act on it, nothing, then it's lost. It's never used. You understand? So, one needs to realize that they steal the limelight. They steal all the time, all the money, everything, just trying to keep these losers married in a house, not on the street, because most women, at least 80 to 90% of women, if they can't be in a house, if it comes to that situation, the wife will leave him. You understand? And usually they live, all these type of people, they live literally on the edge of being in a house and not being in a house, paying the mortgage, paying the rent. They're on the edge. You understand? And that's just that. Not to talk about debt, just being able to be under a roof. You understand? So all the emergency around them takes up all the resources and all the time of the righteous people, and just it drains everything towards them. And in that way, it sort of looks like it sort of makes them, from a loser perspective, since everybody's kissing up to the losers, it sort of makes them looked at as big stuff. You understand? That's what's it's weird, but that's what's happening. One has to understand. One has in life has to be able to remove the noise from what needs to be done, the reality. And there's a lot of noise. People getting divorced. How many couples are getting married and getting divorced within 30 days? They didn't even pay off the wedding hall and they got divorced already. They already are separated. Things are happening at rapid speed, unfortunately. And it's so sad because these men and these girls didn't have to be brainwashed. The men didn't have to be brought up with such little skill and such little ability and with absolutely stupid ideas of life. That didn't have to happen. They could have been brought up intelligent, successful, beruchnias, begashmias, bemidas, and everything. But since someone read a Gemara that talks about the Rashbi, and they decided that that's what everybody has to do, they take the greatness of our great sages and they use that to hurt the common folk, to hurt Klal Yisrael, which is a grave sin. So one needs to realize this. One needs to realize what is happening. And therefore, the way forward needs to be done with balance. And what is that? When someone comes to you, I just recently got a call, whatever, this frantic, they left a voicemail, a girl, this woman left a frantic voicemail about someone that the friend got some crazy rare sickness, and she left me voicemail. She wants $1,000. She's looking for $1,000, and you understand. So a person could just be blown away, and the emergency could make them lose faculties about the fact that we have to create a balanced Jewish community. We just can't continue on with these crazy people, these people, stupid people. We just can't continue on with them. You understand? With these radical so-called saints, we cannot continue on with them. So what could happen is a person can understand that this is what needs to be done, but since there's so much emergency happening, and chas v'shalom, if you already fed into these lies, and you already have kids that are married, and now they're on the brink of divorce, they're everything, they're constantly needing money, everything's going wrong. You understand? So a person could lose grip because of the emergency. They forget about what needs to be done. That if we start bringing up a generation in proper balance, then most of these things will go away. You understand? Most of these things will go away, and people will be able to take care of themselves. They won't have to go begging when they need $1,000. When something happens, a child gets sick, they don't have to go begging for $1,000. It's not a lot of money. They could just they have $1,000 easily saved. You understand? Especially if you follow Dave Ramsey. You understand? Easily you saved $1,000. So people need to realize this, and at the same time, to be heartless. That's not good also, because at the end of the day, someone's in pain, something's happening. But you have to understand, it's more heartless to not take the steps to prevent those problems from happening. And the only way is to create our own shuls, our own schools for boys and girls, and a curriculum in a way that a person could go into the work field, and he's connected to Judaism, and the girls want him, and in this and there's a shul and a yeshiva that he could come learn in. You understand? He's connected to Judaism. Not that once he goes to work, all of a sudden none of the girls want him. He's basically kicked out. Everybody is telling him that you're doing the wrong thing. You understand? All that negativity. He gets negativity that a person at his age isn't naturally able to handle. They're not built for such things. You understand? Especially when you're doing the right thing. It's one thing if a person does the wrong thing, and then but especially when you're doing the right thing, and then to have that all happen. People are not built for that, to do the good thing and then constantly be beaten about doing the good thing. As a human being, we're not built for that. And certainly our young boys and girls are not built for that. So it needs to stop. So you have to remember, don't give the money away. Don't give. Again, you don't have to give anything. If giving a $5, $10, $20 to you doesn't mean any, isn't affecting your ability to create this to happen, then of course. And if you want to, then of course give. You understand? But if there's very limited money and every dollar counts, which is usually the case, then don't give. If it's someone that's speaking to you, I'll say to him, but the money, I just don't have money to give. You don't have to explain anything. And if they try to handle this, you say, listen, you don't have to just walk away and say, you don't have to explain to them. The money is sacred. The money is holy. And tzedakah money, especially, if you don't use it right, that's Hashem's money. And you need to use it right. You need to use it right. It needs to be saved. It needs to be utilized to recreate the system of Yiddishkeit, the true system, where there's balance. And where there's balance, all of a sudden, so many of the dark clouds go away. And I just can't stress it enough. There needs to be balance. We can't forget that at 18, the boy has to start working. He starts to work. Even and if possible by 16. Work is very, very healthy. And that's when we're talking about a steady job. Before that, of course, there's working according, to what's healthy for the child. You can mow the lawn, things like that, painting. You can learn how to, how to fix cars, this, that, you understand? But that's more the training stage before. And while you're training, you're also working, learning, but it's more to the training stage. But at 16, 18, you should already be able to have an umda, a trade, and preferably a few trades, so just in case one isn't working now, the other one could be used, you understand? And the trade should be based around things that, you try different things, and a person sees what they're interested in. Some people really like cars, some people like buildings, some people like electricity, some people like stocks, there's so many different things, you understand? We need to create that community. You understand? This Kyle business is coming to a point that almost no one the money that was coming in when they first started the Kyle nonsense, most of the Jews that were into the system were working, but now we're already a few generations later. And what happens is the money coming into Kleisel keeps becoming less and less, and people just want these rich people to give all their money away. It is stupidity, nonsense. So halachically they're not mechuyev to, and if halachically they're not mechuyev to, they don't have to. You understand? And there's nothing wrong with them using that money to build an empire. You understand? There's nothing wrong with that. So one needs to, and the focus should be not Kollel, but the kids. That every Jewish child to the age of 18th has the option to go to a good Jewish school for them. That has to be. You understand? There are people that are coming from very Jewish backgrounds, and then there's people that are coming from they're Jewish, but that's all that they know. So they need more. They need to have free schools that the parents could send them, and they could be brought up to speed. You understand? And they don't. And 18 is when you work. Even if you're about Shuva, once you turn 16, 18, you have to. You can't just sit in yeshiva. You got to work and become a Baal Tshuva. You understand? You're an adult. An adult part of being an adult is that you can juggle many things at the same time. this is such a must. This is such a, if the Shirim, which we have we're very thankful to them that they give so much of their money away. But in truth, their money is all just being used for kollel, and it should completely stop. And we should be bombing out tons of Jewish schools. They should all the Jewish schools, they should just take them over. There's so much, especially there's a lot of, they don't know how to handle money, and things just disappear because they don't understand money. So you need to, the schools have to be taken over, and they have to be transformed up until 18, balance, and teaching them an umnis, a few of them, and things. And it's not like everybody has to learn this. No, there's different things people like. It has to be a wide variety of different things, and sometimes a new thing comes out, and that's added, to the list, and people could start, and people could come with their own ideas, and things could move. Things could happen. A 9-year-old today could easily make $1 million, easily, with the right guidance. So people need to understand this. The days of turning Judaism into this dorky religion, it's over. We're finished with that. A new day, a new dawn is arising. We're finished of these crazy people turning Judaism into a bunch of close to homeless people, dorkies, beta males. We're done. We're done. You understand? These people that are spewing this nonsense, we're done with them. We're done. You understand? We would rather find one tzaddik that has the real truth and ignore all the fakers than simp for all the fakers because of their feelings, because of their cover that they think is being dishonored, and they think that's kvod shemayim. Just ignore these psychopaths. Just ignore them. These people that are full of kavod, honor, egoism, just ignore them. And guess what? When you treat them the way that they should be treated, and you do, doesn't have to become radical, just simply ignore them, then all of a sudden they're going to have to work, and they're going to thank you later, because they're going to become real men, and they're going to feel that difference. And of course, you're always going to have some losers that just they'll just refuse and self-destruct. You can't help. We have mercy is meant for the wise person. A wise person is someone who wants to go in the right way. The mercy for fools, right? What does it say? I believe it's in Mesilas, the Gemara says it. The Gemara brings, I think Mesilas Strom brings it, that to have mercy on a fool, in Judaism, we look down upon that. We're not talking about someone that's Down syndrome, we're talking about someone that's a fool. Fool means that you have the ability to be smart, but you choose not to be. And that's a fool. You understand? So, this is extremely important. It has to be unwavering, and they're gonna attack you, and they're gonna try to use all the emergency that they created with this stupid idea, all this emergency that's happening all around us. They're gonna use that to make you forget about the balance, a shul, a yeshivas, girls' schools that have balance, to make you forget about that because of all the emergency. So first, they'll try to speak nicely to you. Then they're gonna maybe there's the 5 steps. I remember how they go, and then at the end they're gonna try to put you in chayrim and threaten you, and you understand they're gonna be nice first, then scream at you, then threaten you, and then like I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna completely destroy your life, chayrim, you're not gonna marry any of our daughters. They're gonna go. You have to understand. That this, will happen. But when you come together and you have a nucleus, you understand, you're careful. You don't just throw away your daughters just because that person has a big name. No, he has a big name, but he's teaching these falsehoods. In Hashem's eyes, he's very small. He means well, but just because you mean well doesn't mean you're doing well. They say the pathway to hell is paved with good intentions. Unfortunately, it's a very true statement. Unfortunately, but it's a very true statement. So you have to realize that. Don't throw away your daughters and your sons just because of this phantom covet. You don't allow yourself to become this egoist. You have to have only gaiva, only ego for Hashem. And Hashem doesn't want this. That's where your mind has to be. And hopefully, with us understanding this and going in the ways of truth, we will start to bring blessing into our lives. Real blessing. The doors will open because we're starting to actually take Yiddishkeit seriously. We're actually starting to take our life seriously, our spouse who's married to us seriously, our future spouse, our children seriously. We're not acting in a stupid way that harms them, harms us, harms our spouse, and harms the community and everybody around us. We're going in the true way of holiness, which is balance. I love you, and Hashem loves you more.